Hey guys, Philosopher here, and today I have an exciting update for my DD5 race. So I have been here in third place for a while. The guy who's in fourth place finally got through the global section. He's still a section behind me. He hasn't finished Cosmic yet. But I got the last gear pieces I need, so I'm going to be entering Legendary today. And this is technically, I think, the 8th day. It's not quite 8 days, full days, since DD5 is opened. But we're going to be entering the final section now. It's a good time to be doing it. You know, a lot of this race, a lot of getting the gear from this race has come from these hidden offers here, which cost a fortune. And it's good for me to be entering the last section before another wave of these come. I'm going to talk more about that after this race is over. But I wanted to talk to you now about what characters I'm going to bring into Legendary and why. So first of all, one character I'm bringing into Legendary is Adam Warlock. And this is purely a misclick, which you know. There's a couple of handicaps I've had in this. One handicap, of course, is that DD5 was released the night before my wedding. Which obviously had to come first. But another problem was that I misclicked on Adam Warlock. I ordinarily would not have brought Adam Warlock to Legendary section, not because he isn't a good character. In fact, I think he's one of the two most relevant, important Legendaries. However, his gear requirements are very significant. So if we go to msf.gg and take a look at his gear requirements, one thing you're going to see here is, for example, 180 health catalysts. One of the biggest, probably the biggest bottleneck right now, for me at least, has been health catalyst. Very high in terms of health catalyst requirement. There are some characters I chose specifically because they require 0 health catalysts. 72 of the uniques, 400 basic catalysts. The highest amount you can of the, at least the highest amount of any of the characters I brought in terms of his Mystic gear. And then, of course, Miasma, which is a unique that is shared by Cloak, shared by Deathpool, Doom, lots of other important characters. It really made it so that I was lucky just to be able to get into City when I did. I would have been in a situation where I wouldn't have been able to bring in Cloak and Dagger, which we'll talk more about after this is all over in terms of the different choices that are available to you. I'm going to do another video giving advice to you about what characters you should consider and I'm going to kind of go through what Tadano did, what Beta Ray Bill did, the guy who finished second, and then myself, and why we made those choices and how expensive certain characters are. But I wouldn't have brought him in because I feel like using mutant gear, there's so many amazing Mystic characters that you could use for Cosmic, and obviously there's an important one for City, that it would be better to use the Mystic gear there and then use the mutant gear here in Legendary. But that was not going to happen because of this, so I had to bring mutants into Cosmic. I brought the Dad Bros, which I ordinarily would not have brought in, but at least both in. I would have maybe brought in Longshot only. And so given that, it meant that I was going to be a little low on mutant gear here. So what am I bringing in? So we have Adam Warlock as one choice. One choice that's a no-brainer for me is Doc Ock, because Doc Ock is fairly low in terms of gear requirements. He's only 54 tech uniques, and there are not a lot of great tech characters. So if we look at what tech characters I've brought in, so far it's just been Lady Deathstrike, who's a low-cost tech character, and I think Misty Knight. Those, I think, are the only tech characters. And then, of course, Kestrel is half tech, okay? Lady Deathstrike and Misty Knight. Misty Knight uses no health catalysts, and she's a very low gear requirement character. Lady Deathstrike, low gear requirement character in terms of teal gear. We have Kestrel, who is, half skill, half tech. So for me now, in Legendary, to me, it's a no-brainer to bring in Doc Ock. So I'm going to do that right now. Now, the question is, who else do I bring in? All right. And one other choice that I'm going to be bringing in is Shuri. And the reason I'm bringing in Shuri is simply you need to have a place to dump tech gear. So you've got to bring in tech characters somewhere. And tech characters aren't the best choice for City. right? City, best choices might be Cloak or Dagger or Symbiotes or even Heroes for Hire. I brought in one tech character there. Global, you have the Secret Avengers there, which are really good in terms of gear costs. So, it didn't make sense to bring a lot of tech characters there. I did bring in Lady Deathstrike, who's a cheap tech character. You can bring in Nebula in the Cosmic, but there aren't a lot of awesome choices. So this gives me a way of dumping some tech gear. She's not going to be the best choice, but you know what? She is going to give me defense up, which will reduce incoming damage by 50%. So at least that's going to be of help to my team. So we're bringing her in as well. Okay. Now, so we got 3 of the characters we need. We need 2 more. So one choice that may be controversial. So there's a couple things that have been happening here. I've been basically in 3rd place with a pretty sizable lead over the guy in 4th place for a little while. And I've actually been waiting on bio gear, and not specifically on bio mini uniques, on this one right here. And what I will say is this one right here. I considered whether or not to wait and hold off to bring in Black Bolt instead of Invisible Woman. So here's what I'll say. Bio, there aren't a lot of great bio characters right now. I brought in 2 symbiotes. I considered even going cheaper in bio gear there, like Luke Cage. We'll talk more about that after the race. In global, there weren't awesome choices there. If you go to my infographic, which I've linked below, you'll see that, for example, for bio, when you look at the global choices for bio, these are how expensive they are in terms of uniques. There aren't some awesome choices here, right? You're not, unless you want to bring in like Cap America or Hulk or something, there aren't awesome choices. So, I did bring in Phyla-Vell into the Cosmic section. I did bring in a couple symbiotes. I brought in Anti-Venom and Symbiote Spider-Man. But, ultimately had a lot of bio gear left over. So definitely was going to go with the bio legendary. Black Bolt, though, requires more of these mini uniques than Invisible Woman. And I've decided it took me long enough just to get the last 2 of these that I'm going to go with Invisible Woman. I actually think she will perform better in the nodes than Black Bolt. I did use her in DD4 because she's the only cleanse that you can get from Legendary. She's the only one who can cleanse debuffs. But I do think Black Bolt is more useful elsewhere. Not a choice I would recommend for people who aren't racing. Okay? Now, Black Bolt, by the way, is not perfect either. Very slow character. One of the slowest characters that are, still somewhat in the meta. But he's really kind of on the outer edges of the meta. He's 100 speed. And it's just that out-of-turn burp that he has. But I think right now we're going with Invisible Woman to get in right now. All right, so there we go. Now, you guys might notice I have all this stuff calculated out very well, and it's because I literally used a spreadsheet to track this stuff, so I know exactly how much gear I use. So if you can see, I now have 4 characters, and then I need to bring in a mutant character. And for days now, I've been able to bring in Phoenix as my 5th character, and the reason that Phoenix is appealing, there's 2 reasons why she's appealing. One of them you probably can guess. Whenever she dies, her summon comes out, and the summon can immediately steal 20% health from all enemies. Very powerful ability in Dark Dimension, has been ever since she came out. What's nice about her is that because Dark Phoenix is a summon, this is always, the cooldown's always ready whenever Dark Phoenix comes out. The issue there with this character is twofold. Well, there's another advantage. Before I get there, let me tell you kind of the other advantage of Phoenix. The other advantage that Phoenix had was that Phoenix, when you look at her gear requirements, clicked on an ad by mistake. When you look at her gear requirements, she does not require any health catalysts, which are a big bottleneck right now. So no teal health catalyst. She requires orange, which it doesn't matter. So she was significantly cheaper in a way than Omega Red. But my belief was, if you look at her stats, here's my Dark Phoenix. Now she's not at level 85, and because I wanted to have my regular Phoenix die more easily, I have not even put blue ISO on her. I've just put level 5 green focus and damage, and then level 1 on the others. So I could have, increased her health to some extent, but when you compare that character to Omega Red, it's no comparison, because look at the health here, 963K. And when you look at every single ability here, this steals 10% health from all enemies. This steals, 5% of each target's health, so it's 5% from 3 enemies. And then this steals 10% health. Now, this attack redistributes a maximum of 25% of the character's max health. I mean, he's not going to steal as much health probably as Phoenix, but I think that he's probably going to be better overall in the nodes, just in terms of his value within those nodes, in terms of staying alive and so forth, the kind of overall value. But I also think in terms of for my roster for the future, I know that Phoenix with Magic coming out may have some value there, but I think that Omega Red is clearly the more valuable character. So we're going with Omega Red. In fact, waiting a couple days, I know I said some people were worried that, oh no, I'm going to give up my being in 3rd place versus 4th place. And why are you doing that? And part of it was I wanted to make sure that I could bring in Omega Red instead of Phoenix. I thought this was a better choice for my roster overall. And, ultimately in this game, you have to set limits for yourself. And one of the limits here is just, instead of spending a ton of cores to try to get in a few days earlier, it's better to focus on my roster for the long run and bring in the characters that are better for my roster. So this is my legendary lineup: Omega Red, Adam Warlock, Doc Ock, Shuri, and Invisible Woman. So a lot of support around Omega Red and Adam Warlock who are going to be my damage dealers. It may not be the best team, but I think it will get through just fine. I mean, I think what I will say in terms of these characters, Invisible Woman is actually, I think, going to perform very well, because this, in my experience in DD4, having the clearing of negative effects and the barrier on the characters that actually mattered was huge. Okay, being able to clear negative effects. And actually, you know what? I might as well just do this one. Why not? So this way we're getting a little more barrier. But then with Shuri, I am concerned about her health. Her health is just not very high, 356K. That's an issue. I think she's probably going to be the weakest, but I just needed to use that tech gear. Ultimately, racing is not about the best team or the team that's going to get through the nodes the fastest. It's about gear management, and I needed to find a way to use bio gear and tech gear, and I did that. So we got 2 tech characters, 1 bio character, and we have 2 of the better legendaries, probably the 2 best legendaries. So let's go in and see what the legendary section looks like, shall we? All right, here we go. So we can now enter. And this actually looks like a fairly decent lineup. So the questions in terms of positioning here. So first of all, in terms of ISO, we've got 1 skirmisher, 2 strikers. That may change at some point. We got 2 healers. These are 2 of the best healers in the game. But, we may want to have a second skirmisher at some point. We'll see how that plays out. In addition, we've got positioning issues. So Doc Ock provides deflect to characters next to him. And so the question is, who do you want to have next to him? And do we want to have, for example, Invisible Woman next to him as well, so he protects her? The problem is then she's not on an end. I think we'll try this team. We'll see how this goes. We'll go from there. I know that a lot of you are thinking that, well, why don't you bring in Jubilee, for example? Well, I understand that you might want to bring in a lot of the characters that have the most impact for your roster, but from a racing perspective, you have to look at my gear that's available. I'm going to show this briefly. When I look at the gear that's available, I got a lot of work to do. So you got to do what you got to do to move forward. And that's what racing is about versus what I will suggest all of you do, which is to be less focused on getting Dormammu quickly and more focused on getting in the nodes. All right, let's just try to get in like this. Let's see what this node looks like. This is a first look here at Legendary Node. All right, let's speed it up. So we got some dominoes. We've got Deadpool. I've noticed you see the costume here. All right, so I love the defense up. That's very helpful. Don't like that disrupted there on Doc Ock. So one thing you may be seeing already is these characters are altered, so they're faster speed. So for example, when you look at this domino, 105, but what about the other domino? 116 speed. Let's see. What about the Deadpools? 112, 123. You see they have altered stats, so that's an issue. I think what we're going to do is we're going to get Shocker out. My experience in DD4, Shocker was fantastic. The enemy really loved going after Shocker because he was so low health. All right, I think I like putting ability block on Scientist Supreme because she can cleanse my debuffs, so we'll do that. And then, do we want to put ability block here so that she can't cleanse? Sure. And then we'll focus maybe on killing the other domino. So far, so good. I like that she cleared. Invisible Woman cleared the dodges. So we're going to go here. One thing that I made a mistake of there is I should have been aiming at this domino to get the vulnerable on her. So, but we'll actually, we're going to get an ability block on this one, or should, let's do this. All right, I like that. And then maybe we stun her. We definitely have a good amount of control here, and then we can extend everything with the Doc Ock flip. All right, so this is pretty good. All right, so now what do we want to kill? I guess we didn't extend stun, so we'll do this. Now, we could cleanse Shuri, by the way, but I'm not doing that because I don't really think that is in our best interest here. All right, we're going to try to kill. There you go. Wow, that does a lot of damage. See, notice how they go after Shocker? I called the Shocker the MVP of Dark Dimension 4 Legendary Section. Just putting a slow there. And here, even though you might want to keep the vulnerable for Omega Red, since it's so close to death, I think that's worth doing. Nothing here to heal. So we're just going to, there we go, get rid of that. Okay, so now we've got ability block for 2 turns there and there. All right, well, let's do that. And now let's go after Scientist Supreme. All right, so far so good. What I like here is this team's got a good amount of control and healing and so forth. So that's a good thing. Everything has got slow on it other than the Deadpool. For right now, that Deadpool we're just going to let be there because he's not the major threat. All right, we're back to defense up and feeding ability energy. I do like Shuri. If she can stay alive, that's very, very good. All right, so now we've still got ability block for 2 turns on Domino. All right, let's... Well, we missed landing the ability block there. I'm not sure that was a wise move. And we're going to get rid of that Deadpool. All right. Nothing to heal here, you can see. That's a real positive of this team. A lot of sustainability. So now... yeah, we're just going to go after her. Wow. So Omega Red looks like a strong choice. I'm going to get rid of this cable here. Just because he's low. So I think this Deadpool is going to ensure that we're able to get our cooldowns going here. The focus here, I've got a lot of healing on this team, so the focus really is just making sure we got our cooldowns up. I'm not super concerned about like, oh, will my team die? I think it's more important to get my cooldowns going and in a good spot for the next wave. So I think, yeah, he's going to cleanse regardless of whether he's ability blocked. So ability blocking him wouldn't really do anything. Yeah. So this is going to be a little bit of a difficult character to deal with. I may need to stun him. Let's see. We'll see when this thing's come around here. We got slow on him this time, so that should help. But frankly, my main concern here is just making sure that I can get my cooldowns right, because you can see everyone's at full health. There we go. Perfect. All right, so now we got the second wave. Okay, Ghost is very concerning. And so what you usually want to do, like if you're doing this and you're not streaming, okay, what I would do is I'd sit here and I'd study this. I'd be like, okay, what's Ghost speed? You do that sort of thing. I mean, that's usually the way I would play. So if I was on my iPad Pro, I'd do something like that. So let's try to put ability block on Ghost, because she's a real concern here. Okay, that worked. That's really good, because her ultimate's a problem. And then I think we'll go here. We want to hurt Ghost, but Iceman slows are an issue. There we go. We get the defense up. And there we go. Now we got all of this barrier up. You can see the value of Invisible Woman. And if there are a lot of debuffs, she also cleanses. Having that survivability is great. I will tell you right now, this is significantly easier than DD4. I hope you can see that. This is my first attempt. I really have put no research into the node. I haven't done anything special here where I'm created the super team. This is purely just sort of off the top of my head, just pressing some buttons here. All right, let's... just doing what makes sense to me in the moment. So let's see. It's a very good first attempt. This is much less of an issue than DD4. It took a lot of attempts for me to get going when I first entered the legendary section. I had to time everything just right. So does Ghost still have? Yeah, Ghost apparently has the evade. All right. You don't want to waste your ability block there, so that's why I put it on Cable. So trying to kill Ghost. You can see all those slows. Might need to use Invisible Woman to get rid of those. See, having Shocker there is so helpful, because Shocker ensures that when Deadpool attacks the lowest health, it attacks Shocker instead of attacking a character that matters. All right, I'm going to get rid of these slows, I think. So there you go. And now they have to attack Omega Red, and he's got immunity. Look at that. Does a lot of damage there. All right. All right, so that's pretty good. Now we get Shocker back out. There you go. So now Ghost fell over. And we we put our we already have defense up. I don't know. So we've already got defense up, but I think we'll do it to make sure it's on for a second turn. It's very good. All right, we'll do this here. I think I'm going to go after Quake. I don't want her slows, which I could, they got resisted anyway. Just trying to get rid of some characters here. Put slow on Cable. Yeah, actually, I'm just going to extend those debuffs here. And then we'll kill Yondu after. You can see a little bit of health missing there from Adam Warlock, but otherwise my characters are all full health. And Adam Warlock is a pretty beefy character, so I'm not really concerned. Yeah, I mean, so far this is really working out quite well. All right. We'll keep going after Cable. All right. So far, so good. So now who do I want ability block on? Do I really want to even use this ability? Well, yeah, we've already got ability block and trauma. I guess we'll throw it on Cable, but I don't even think we need it. Yeah. So now we're going to basic. The goal here is just purely to use. The reason I have Deadpool at the end is because he's great at staying alive, healing himself, and giving my characters a lot of time to recharge their cooldowns. I'm not really concerned with this team based on what I'm seeing so far. The team staying alive, right? My team's got 2 of the best healers in the game. The question is essentially, can we recharge all our cooldowns before the next wave? That's what I'm trying to accomplish. Just trying to do that, focusing on that. And if he heals up again before taking another turn, that's fine. See what he just did there? Oh, well, no problem. We'll just do what we got to do. We got slow on him. Eventually, if we have to, we can stun him, but I'd rather not. I'd rather just use this opportunity to get my cooldowns going. And there you go. Now we got full cooldowns for the next one. And so here's our concern, right? Our concern, generally Silver Surfer. You can go here and look, though. I mean, Black Widow and Yo-Yo and Ghost are all problems. Depends on their speed. So we can go here and look and see, for example, the Yo-Yo. 140 speed. That, I think, is her regular speed. She's the second fastest character in the game. Ghost here, probably not. Is this Yo-Yo? Yeah, 140. And then we have the Black Widow here. Okay. So let's try to put stun here. They don't have a cleanse. We got the stun. All right. So now that we have the stun, that's a pretty big deal. So there we go. Get the defense up. That's very nice. So defense up gives me a 50% damage reduction. Offense down, which is going to come from Invisible Woman, gives them a 50% reduction in their outgoing damage. All right, this is very nice. We got the ability block. See, now we got offense down on everyone. So this is really helpful for survivability. If you've ever been somebody experimenting on the high ends of raids, like, you're like, we want to be the first person to clear Doom 2.3 or something, you'll find that having defense up and offense down is very important. So, all right, we will now extend with the flip. That's huge. So now we've got 2 turns stun on 2 characters. We got 2 turns of ability block. We can actually put 2 turns of ability block there, and that will also disrupt Yo-Yo. Very, very good situation we're in. Do we want to ability block anyone else? We can ability block Quake, I guess. Just nice to get some health too, health steal and so forth. Look at my team is in pretty good shape here. Let's try to kill Quake. Okay. So we do have some slow out there. All right, we're going to get rid of the slow. Why not? Do we still have Shocker out? So Shocker's still there. All right, so then we don't really need to use that. I know it gives speed bar to Shocker, but Shocker looks like he's in a good spot. Notice that the enemy is spending a lot of time and effort attacking Shocker. I think let's work on Silver Surfer while his health is low. We don't like Silver Surfer, do we? All right, let's get that defense up again. Okay, we still have Shocker out. Who doesn't have slow on them? Well, Black Widow. We'll do that just to get slow on her. Okay, so she puts speed up. We don't like that. We don't like speed up. So speed up increases their rate of generating speed bar by 50%. Slow does the opposite. It decreases it by 50%. So now you see he's no longer stunned. But let's just get rid of Silver Surfer anyways. We don't like him. We like him when he's on our team, not so much on the opposing team. I think we'll do this. We want to get rid of that evade on Ghost. Nice. And nice assist there. Okay, so we do have a couple slows. We don't like slow, generally speaking. All right, let's try to get rid of Ghost. That's nice. No one looks like they need heals, which is fantastic. Well, for the first time, we had an enemy get something off. Let's get, so that hurt. We got rid of Shocker's gone. Shuri's on her last legs here. All right, let's do what we're going to do here. I don't know if that evade is a phantom evade. Okay, this is good. I think we do this. All right, we're going to try to do that just to see. It looks like a phantom evade on Black Widow. Oh, Shuri's gone. All right, so for the first time we lost somebody, but it's still it's a very good run. We still have 4 people alive. Now, obviously, without Shuri, that's going to create some issues for us, but this is very successful because this is literally our first time. Seeing how hard it was to get, how easy it was to get Black Widow down makes me wonder if I should have targeted her sooner. One thing I think you can see here, by the way, is how much having Invisible Woman actually is helpful. Her shields are helpful. Her cleanse is helpful. Let's see. All right. Let's see what we got here. All right. Yeah, wow, this is great. All right, let's go after Iceman. I kind of like having Yo-Yo as the last one because she's not somebody who is... Yeah, we'll let my team go slower. I don't really care about that. I was thinking about cleansing the slow. But let's do that. I think that looks like a phantom evade. I mean, I really do wish that... I really do wish that Scopely would take care of some of these visual issues. You can see, though, even without Shuri, we're doing pretty well. I mean, we may one-shot this node on our first attempt. So anyone, I know there's a lot of people who already are putting out infographics for DD5. They've never entered it, but I'm sure there's going to be a lot of geniuses coming up who are going to tell you, like, DD5 is so difficult. You need this character, that character. I'm sure you can see now that this is my first attempt with a team that I'm bringing in largely based on its gear requirements. So, if this team can do well, then any team can. All right, so we've got one cleanser to deal with here. And we'll just put that ability block out there. Why not? There we go. Now, we don't have the defense up anymore, but we do have the barrier, which is nice, and we have the offense down. So that we still have a shot to one-shot the node. But just as I've said many times to folks, you don't get any like special prizes for one-shotting the node. It's not like you get 5 red Dormammu or something. So you really want to just focus on what the best, either if you're in a hurry, it's like, okay, well, how can I get through these nodes? Not in terms of gear. How can I gear a team the fastest? What's the team I have the gear for? And if you're not in a super hurry, which I would recommend not being, which characters do I actually want geared for my account? So, I think that's more important than being focused on things like, who's going to help you get a one shot on a node. So it looks like we got a domino out here. I don't know where that domino came from. We'll ability block this domino. Just, I don't know. All right, that Black Widow's probably going to die of bleeds. Maybe, maybe not. Let's put a slow on this domino. Only character doesn't have slow. I like to keep the opposing team's characters on slow. All right, that's so far so good here. I'm going to go after Domino before going after Iceman just because she's got lower health. He's got that shield. I'm going to use my cleanse here. I might regret that if Iceman throws out a lot of slows, but I think the goal here is just to keep the train going while I've got a full team. All right. I think we'll do that just because we were able to leech off health from 2 characters instead of 1. All right, we saw a Shocker out here, so I'm fine just kind of keeping that cooldown up in case Shocker happens to die. Let's see. Well, we can put ability block on her as well. All right, this way. I was worried about there you go. This way, in case there's a half spawn of a wave, which happens here, we'd be fine, and we did. Well, let's get rid of Yondu right away. So this is a good situation. We're going to get rid now of Iceman. Iceman's one of the bigger threats here. I mean, there's only 3 characters that are a threat. As long as we have Shocker around, I'm not super worried about Deadpool. And I like leaving him up last so that I can use his self-healing to help me recharge my cooldowns. All right, so who do I use ability block on? I'm not really concerned about her abilities, so I'll probably use it here. You don't want to use it, of course, on Deadpool because it's just going to help him heal. All right. We'll put slow on her. We're going to go after her first. The thought process being that... oh, wow. The thought process being that Deadpool is a good one to leave up at the end there, but I am a little bit concerned. Oh, wow. I love that healing from her. That's huge. Huge healing. All right, let's stun Deadpool because he's just getting me a little concerned with where Yo-Yo's at. All right, well, this is a problem. I just don't want... I don't want anyone to die here. I'd like to complete the one shot. It's very good. All right, we want to get Shocker out. No question about it. Shockers are basically a good insurance policy here. He makes sure that that Deadpool's not going to like one-shot Invisible Woman. And there you go. Now look at her barrier. That's a good situation for us. And that's fine. I don't mind that he heals up. I actually want to get slow on him right away. The goal here is just purely to get my cooldowns up so I can face the last 3 characters in a good situation. Okay, so Black Widow, X-23, and Quake. So we're going to take this seriously here. Adam Warlock is still around, by the way. He's just invisible right now. Gotta love this game sometimes. All right, we'll put ability block on Black Widow. Okay. And I think on X-23 as well. Then we're going to use this. And we're going to kill Black Widow first. Don't really care about his cooldowns. About Shockers, because he's a summon. So we're going to go after Black Widow. And then we're going to focus largely on cooldown management here. The goal being, of course, to start the next node with 100% full cooldowns. That could be a mistake. There's always a potential that you underestimate the team that's remaining, but probably not here. This Dark Dimension 5 has been pretty easy. And I think the results speak for themselves. I mean, you're seeing I'm literally just clicking buttons here. I'm putting some thought behind this, but this is not. I have no idea what's coming. I don't have some kill order guide. I haven't created the perfect team. I'm literally streaming. And there you go. Easy. Easy one shot first attempt. Easy. This was a better rewards in this one node than there was for the entire Thanos giving event, right? All right. So there we go. One shot this node. One thing I found that probably the others did the same. Oh, I was the only one to one shot the node. Very interesting. Surprised to hear that. So third person in, first one shot. One thing I found is that even if you are the first one to one shot this node, you end up dropping in the standings over time. You think that this would be like a nice keepsake. You'd be on here. You don't even. I learned from racing last time that my early one shots of these nodes just ended up going down the leaderboard, and eventually there's some guy who did it faster or did it more damage in the course of it or something. It doesn't matter. So I don't. This stuff doesn't mean anything. Like I said, you don't get an extra reward for it. But in terms of the reason I highlight this stuff, it just shows you that in terms of team construction, this team actually did pretty well, despite being a team that was largely based on gear. Okay. Now some of it, they're for example, you got 5 strikers, 4 strikers. They're probably trying to compete to be first on the TCB leaderboards. There's like a trying to be number 1 or whatever. That striker gives you a little bit more in terms of a number. I'm focused more on the performance within the nodes. So here, I think this the ISO setup was very good. The healer kept me alive. Very happy with that. All right, I'm gonna I think we'll end this video here. I'm gonna go right. I'll do the next video will be node 14, and we'll go right into that. I know this has been a long video, but I hope you enjoyed it. I didn't expect to on the first attempt one shot the node, but so be it. It's a long video. Deal with it. All right. If you're mad about it, you can post in the comments below. If you're happy for me, post in the comments below, or go to my Discord. That's linked below as well. You can also go to my Twitch stream. That is linked below too. That's where all this magic happens.